Hey guys, on today's video I'm going to be giving you all a full breakdown on one of Marty's mightiest solos from his Megadeth era. Poison Was the Cure from the legendary Rust in Peace record. Check it out. Well, hey there kids, it's your good buddy, Uncle Ben. I think you guys know by now that I am a huge fan of Marty Friedman's Megadeth era playing. We've done full breakdowns of his solos on The Killing Road, Tornado of Souls, Symphony of Destruction, and many others here on my channel already. But it's been a heckin' long time since we broke one down, and you guys need more hot licks in your life. So today we're going to be talking about how to play his amazing solo from the outro of Poison Was the Cure. This is a pretty difficult solo to play. It's extremely fast and features a lot of Marty's signature combination of bluesy pentatonic stuff, bizarre chromaticism, and cool arpeggio tricks. It's short and awesome, just like Marty himself. But before we talk about all the ins and outs, let's hear that thing again at stepdad speed. As always, tabs for this lesson can be found over on my Instagram page at Ben Eller Guitars. Just search for hashtag Weekend Wankshop 268, find the tabs and start shredding today. Downloadable tabs, backing tracks, bonus lessons, and so much more are available to everybody who supports my channel over on my Patreon page at patreon.com/Ben Eller Guitars. All the cool kids are doing it. So sign up today and start raking in those benefits. Thanks. Okay, setup wise, I am using my Suhr Modern Satin in standard tuning. I'm playing through the Fractal Audio Axe FX 3, which is amazing. And I'm using this sweet little pick that just showed up in the mail today. This is that Dunlop White Fang James Hetfield signature flow pick. It's like a 1.14. Got a nice pointy tip on it and stuff. Pretty dope. Using a Metallica pick to play a Megadeth solo on the internet, somebody is gonna get pissed, but oh well. Okay, so this solo is in the key of A minor and it uses a lot of Marty's signature big bends and vibrato, as well as his arpeggio playing and stuff. So let's get into it. That's the first lick of the solo. You can see I'm starting off here on my G string. I kind of think of this as being in that kind of, you know, Dorian pentatonic A minor position. Starting off with that big bend on the 7th fret G, whole step bend. Little rake going into that, just to add some extra authority to that note, and notice he bends and then rebends. Then for the third one here, he's taking it up, letting it down, and doing a pull-off. After that, we're going to go to that 7th fret on the B string. Again, this would be a 6 against the A that he's playing against at that point, so it gives it that cool kind of Dorian sound. Again, a rake, a bend, and a rebend there on 7th B. Oh, now that's just a Marty signature lick right there. It's kind of walking down the A blues scale. Knowing how much of a downwards pick slanting player Marty is with his crazy like flipper hand that he plays with, I'm gonna guess that that lick probably starts off on an upstroke, because if you do it that way, all your string changes happen after upstrokes, which is kind of your strong point if you play like Marty does. So as I play that lick, it's up, down, up, down, up. And then what you gotta do after this is land on the 6th fret G. But Marty has this cool thing that he does all the time where instead of just playing the note that he wants, he'll play the note a half step behind it instead. So it sounds kind of off for a second and then bend it into place. It sounds like on the isolated guitar track, which you can find here on YouTube, he'll take that up for that half step bend, getting it back in the scale. And there's like this tiny quarter step that he lets it down, then takes it back up into being in tune. Again, more pentatonic stuff here. So your first section here is all in that minor pentatonic box with those cool bends. Should sound like this. And don't skimp out on adding in some big-ass juicy vibrats. If you play a Marty Friedman solo and you hit it with that little mosquito stuff, you're doing a major disservice to what makes Marty so freaking awesome. Don't just, you know, nervously vibrate on that thing. Really get in there, fret it hard, and shake the piss out of it. That's a spicy meatball right there. My spider sense is tingling, and it's telling me that somebody in the comment section is already typing up something about the Hirajoshi scale. To me, when I think about how this lick takes place over the chords it's going over, it kind of spells out some really cool, interesting harmony. Because basically over the A that he starts the lick off on, he's playing this. My fingers tell me that that's a C major 7 arpeggio. 7, root, 3rd, 5th, right? Like that sound right there. But over A, those notes take on a different meaning. This B note to A would be like a 9th. This C note would be a minor 3rd, like you usually find in A minor. The E note would be the 5th of that chord, again, like you usually find. And then this G note right here sounds out as a minor 7. So when we play this, it's like we're playing 9 flat 3rd, 5 flat 7, which kind of gives this whole thing kind of like an A minor 7 add 9 sound, which I think is really cool. I would be almost certain that Marty plays this alternate pick starting off with a downstroke, so just down, up, repeat on all this stuff. You're going to take that arpeggio through several different octaves, and what I want you to do to eyeball taking this around is get a grip on the starting points. This lick always starts off on a B note, right? So first I want you to get used to those position shifts that you're making. That's your first starting point, that's your second B note starting point, that's your third B note starting point. So you get your first octave. Our second octave is going to start off here on the D string, fret number 9. And then start from the B string, fret 12. Okay? After that, we're going to kind of play down the arpeggio once we get to the high position right here. Okay, so that's again starting off here on the high E, 15-12, B, 13-12. And then start this lick. So this is kind of a finger twister. It's constantly going back and forth between the high E and B string. Starting off on the high E, then going to the B, high E, then back to the B. Play it again. Okay? Conclude that with, this is the 15th fret high E string with a whole step bend, then go to the 12th high E. So you're going to play up the arpeggio in 3 octaves, down the arpeggio, then the finger twister. That's the first D minor arpeggio lick that we run into here. And again, this is being played over a D power chord, so he's just kind of filling in the harmony. This is something that Marty does exceptionally well in almost all of his solos, is look at a power chord as just kind of being like a cheese pizza of chords, you know what I mean? It's just root and fifth. There's no information there about what the second is, or the third, or the sixth, or the seventh. So a lot of times in his soloing, Marty will just take whatever power chord and be like, I don't know, I'll fill in the rest of the harmony and make you minor add 9. Or maybe this time I'll take this bit of harmony, root 5th, fill it in with root 3rd, 5th, flat 7, root, flat 9. It's kind of like in Jurassic Park when they talk about filling in the gaps in the dino DNA with like frog DNA and stuff, right? He's just filling in the gaps in the harmony in this case. I kind of think about this as taking place in 2 different popular D minor arpeggio shapes. This guy up here, and then this guy. Those are 2 really common D minor arpeggio shapes, and he gets in and out of them with sliding. So I'm starting off here on the root note on the B string 15, that's the D note. And again, this is just going to be flat third and fifth here on the high E string. There's the fifth right there of the arpeggio as well. Again, I can eyeball that because if that's D, the root, the power chord note is the fifth, right? So when you reach that fifth, you're going to slide it down here to the 10th fret on that same string, okay? That puts you in that position right there. And that's exactly what we're going to do, is just sweep up and down that D minor position. Nasty finger rolls right there. Just make that first finger do the worm and really roll from the fingertip to the print to the knuckle as you're gliding up and down that arpeggio. It's a total pain in the ass, but what are you going to do? Picking wise, I'm starting off with a down to an up, 2 ups, then I got the slide, right? So down, up, slide. Then for this section, I'm just going to use some consecutive downstrokes to sweep through it. After I reach the high F note here, that's where I'm going to turn around to an upstroke, then consecutive ups. Okay, down, 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 up, up. Now that is a really cool way to play a high D minor arpeggio. I'm not 1,000,000% certain that this is the fingering and position that he's using. I'm not sure about that second slide that I put in there, but there's like no live footage of Marty playing this solo, so I'm not really sure. Yeah, there's a lot of live footage of like Broderick and Kiko and other guys playing this solo, but everybody plays Marty's stuff different, so I'm not gonna swear that any of us are playing this lick right. So slide into that 22 on the high E string, then you're gonna play the 17 on the high E string. And again, this kind of lands you in that familiar sort of stair-step D minor shape right there, okay? So you get your slide. Now, after you play the B string here on fret number 18, you're gonna slide that down to 15. Again, that's a D note, the root of the arpeggio. Okay? Then you're gonna play the A note on the G string, the F note on the D string, and then the root note again on the A string 17. Okay, so that's... And then he ends this lick with, so that's the G here on 14 and 12, the A and G notes. So your D minor arpeggio section should sound like this. Really fast A minor pentatonic sixes here in the high position coming up. This is a brutal one to alternate pick your way through. And again, it's just starting with a downstroke. This is where Marty's, propensity for downward pick slanting really comes in handy. Because even though he has like no muting or anything here on the low strings, he's able to really attack the strings super hard. Again, I'm just kind of mimicking sort of the way that Marty plays right here. You'll notice that whenever you play with that kind of like, flipper hand I always mention when I'm talking about Marty's playing, the upstrokes really just fly away from the face of the guitar like that. It's like it naturally sets your picking at such a diagonal that when you're playing those fast pentatonic sixes and stuff, the pick has nowhere to go but out, which means you can dive bomb down onto that next string just like that. Again, Marty's is kind of the most dramatic because of the position that he uses, but guys like Johnson and Bonamassa are doing the same idea. It's just a little bit more subtle looking. So what we're going to do here is to play down those 6 notes of the minor pentatonic scale 2 times in a row. And then cap it off with just 4 notes of the pentatonic scale. It gives you a total of 16 notes. So your first section of the pentatonic stuff sounds like this. After this, play another 6-note group, the 4-note group, and then you're going to cap it off with a big bend. This is the 22nd fret here on my high E string, going up a full step. I'm not going to swear on my life that that is a 22nd fret full step bend, but I almost think he might actually be playing that here on the 20th fret and doing like a 2 whole step bend. Hell, it could even be the 21st fret with a 1.5 step bend. That would not be out of common for Marty's playing. And then we get to a really weird lick with a bunch of chromatic stuff in it. It seems like about every classic Marty solo has one of those what the f licks in it. In this solo, it happens right here. It's really arrhythmic too. It really just flows all over the beat, so don't try to like count this out and make it super metric. So he starts this off in kind of a logical way, sort of outlining an A minor with an added ninth sort of sound again. Starting off here by sliding into the D string fret 7, that's our root note A. There's the ninth of the scale and the flat third. Again, kind of outlining that tonality. On the G string here, you can play the fifth of the arpeggio. Again, always visualize that from the root. And then the high root note here on the B string. After this, walk down chromatically, and then all the way down to the E note down here. Here how the timing kind of accelerates as he gets closer to the E note. And you can really hear his pick kind of, choking those notes off as he goes too. Go back to the G here on fret number 7, then back to the B. Little 2-note pull off right there, okay? Then we're going to go to the G and walk down all 4 notes chromatically. I think that last note is a pull off there too, but again, really hard to say. Then you got to have the D string right here, fret 7, and then finish it off with this. So you can see again that is using that ninth and flat third again here from the scale position on the G string. Again, that's a really weird one, so I want to play it a few more times to make sure you get the phrasing and stuff right. As he lands on that root note right there, there's kind of an odd thing that happens on the original version of the recording that doesn't happen on the remastered version. Whenever he lands on that note, you immediately hear another guitar enter playing essentially the next lick. That starts as soon as one guitar is still holding this note out. So here for a second in the solo, you have one track of guitar just holding that note out while this other track comes in and takes over. It's almost like it was a really weird edit that they just left in. Like he punched in on that lick, but they just left the other one ringing out until it faded out or something. Weird, wild stuff. That's our next run right there, just straight down the blues scale, starting on the root note, again, probably with an upstroke. 2 pick strokes and a pull off here. Okay? Up, down, up, pull, down. Then you got to play the first part of that run before you jump up to the next position. So you can see I just didn't resolve it, because he's got to move up to this next. So you can see how I slid up there to the 13th B, did a pull off to the 10, the root note, A right there. Going to the G string here. Then you're going to go back to the B10 and hammer back on the 13. So it's... Then when you go to the high E string here, we're going to have a big old stretch. We're going to be using the 10th and 15th frets. That'd be your D and G notes. So notice that was pick, pick with a pull off, okay? Go back to your B string, do the little pull off lick again, G string, and then back to the B string again. So that's just a good high position A minor pentatonic bit. And I think that he starts by sliding up onto the 19th fret G string, going to the B right here, using fret 17 and 20. And then again, this is, I suspect, a 22nd fret high E string bend. Whole step up to the note E. After that, he goes right back into the scale position here. I'm using the 20 and 17 on the high E string. And then ending with the B string here, fret number 20. Full step bend up to the root note of the scale, A. So that last ending section should sound something like this. And that is the solo. Let's go through it bit by bit here. It's kind of a beast, but if you break it into sections, it's doable. Sensual minor pentatonic bends. Weird 2-note per string arpeggio. D minor arpeggios. pentatonic sixes. Weird chromatic thing. And then your hot pentatonic lick. Success. So there you go, fellow Marty Friedman maniacs, another legendary thrash metal solo from the Rust in Peace era. Let me know in the comment section what other classic Marty Friedman solos you guys would like me to break down next time. It's always a joy going through and transcribing these things as accurately as possible and learning more of Marty's cool tricks. If you learned yourself something good from watching this video and want to say thanks, be sure to support my channel over on that Patreon page at patreon.com/Ben Eller Guitars. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for new content coming at you all the time, and ring the bell for notifications every time I upload another slice of fried gold. Well guys, it's been fun as always, but my tummy is a rumbling and there's a fridge full of co-beers that's calling my name, so I got a jet. As for you guys, get away from the computer, pick up the guitar, and get to practicing. Less clicking, more picking.